hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air. There's a hurt here that cannot be fixed by band-aids or poetry. So the first time she realizes that Wonder Woman isn't coming, I'll make sure she knows she doesn't have to wear the cape all by herself. Because no matter how wide you stretch your fingers, your hands will always be too small to catch all the pain you want to heal. Believe me, I've tried. And baby, I'll tell her, don't keep your nose up in the air like that. I know that trick. I've done it a million times. You're just smelling for smoke. So you can follow the trail back to a burning house. So you can find the boy who lost everything in the fire to see if you can save him. Or else, find the boy who lit the fire in the first place to see if you can change him. But I know she will, anyways. So instead, I always keep an extra supply of chocolate and rain boots nearby because there's no heartbreak that chocolate can't fix. Okay, there's a few heartbreaks that chocolate can't fix, but that's what the rain boots are for, because the rain will wash away everything if you let it. I want her to look at the world through the underside of a glass bottom boat, to look through a microscope at the galaxies that exist on the pinpoint of a human mind, because that's the way my mom taught me, that there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this, my mama said, when you open your hands to catch and wind up with only blisters and bruises, when you step out of the phone booth and try to fly, and the very people you want to save are the ones that are standing on your cape, when your boots will fill with rain and you'll be up to your knees in disappointment. And those are the very days you have all the more reason to say thank you, because there's nothing more beautiful than the way the ocean refuses to stop kissing the shoreline, no matter how many times it's swept away. You will put the wind in win some, lose some. You will put the star in starting over and over. And no matter how many landmines erupt in a minute, be sure your mind lands on the beauty of this funny place called life. And yes, on a scale of 1 to over trusting, I'm pretty darn naive, but I want her to know that this world is made out of sugar. It can crumble so easily, but don't be afraid to stick your tongue out and taste it. Baby, I'll tell her, remember, your mama is a warrior, your mama is a warrior, your papa is a, I'm sorry, your mama is a warrior and your papa is the warrior. And you are the girl with small hands and big eyes who never stops asking for more. And remember, the good things come in threes, and so do bad things. And always apologize when you've done something wrong. But don't ever apologize for the way your eyes refuse to stop shining. Your voice is small, but don't ever stop singing. And when they finally hand you heartbreak, when they slip war and hatred under your door and offer you handouts on street corners of cynicism and defeat, you tell them that they really ought to meet your mother.
Please rise, embody your spirit, and join me in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Set me free. Spirit, love, come to me. Come to me. Rick will read our next reading.
This reading is from the late Vietnamese Zen monk, peace activist, and teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh. It's about his mother. The day my mother died, I wrote in my journal, "A serious misfortune of my life has arrived. I suffered for more than a year after the passing away of my mother. But one night in the highlands of Vietnam, I was sleeping in my hut in the Hermitage. I dreamed of my mother. I saw myself sitting with her and we were having a wonderful talk. She looked young and beautiful, her hair flowing down. It was so pleasant to sit there and talk to her as if she had never died. When I awoke, it was 2 a.m, and I felt very strongly that I had never lost my mother. The impression that my mother was still with me was very clear. I understood then that the idea of having lost my mother was just an idea. It was obvious in that moment that my mother is always alive in me. I opened the door and went outside. The entire hillside was bathed in sunlight. It was a hill covered with tea plants, and my hut was set behind the temple halfway up. Walking slowly in the moonlight through the rows of the tea plants, I noticed my mother was still with me. She was the moonlight, caressing me as she had done so often, very tender, very sweet, wonderful. Each time my feet touched the earth, I knew my mother was with me. I knew this body was not mine, but a living continuation of my mother and my father and my great-grandparents and my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents, all of my ancestors. Those feet that I saw as my feet were actually our feet. Together, my mother and I were leaving footprints in the damp soil. From that moment on, the idea that I had lost my mother it no longer existed. All I had to do was look at the palm of my hand and feel the breeze on my face or the earth under my feet to remember that my mother was always with me, available at any time.
Thank you for that beautiful guitar. You could keep playing while he plugs in. Thank you. Well, I think we've just seen this morning that Mother's Day is a tricky business. Don't you think? Yeah. There are people here, I'm sure, who would just as soon skip Mother's Day and might have hoped there wasn't going to be a Mother's Day service as we came in. Thanks for coming anyway. All those Hallmark cards we're supposed to buy or to receive, which never, ever seem to be adequate to or inclusive of all that we feel. Some of us may have had mothers we needed to get as far away from as possible, or who harmed us. And where does that leave us on Mother's Day? And then there are the many broken-hearted mothers, because a broken heart seems to come with the territory of being a mother, along with all the joys. So many reasons this day is more complicated than any Hallmark card sentiment. The inimitable Anne Lamott said this very well in a humorous screed about why she hates Mother's Day, that I love to read every year on Mother's Day. I think part of the reason I love it is that my mother felt just about the same way about Mother's Day. Here are some excerpts from it. And if you want to read the whole thing, which is fantastic, you can go online, just Google Anne Lamott and Mother's Day. I did not raise my son Sam to celebrate Mother's Day. I didn't want him to feel some obligation to buy me pricey lunches or flowers, some annual display of gratitude that you have to grit your teeth and endure. Perhaps Mother's Day will come to mean something to me as I grow even more dotier in my dotage, and I will find myself bitter and distressed when Sam dutifully ignores the holiday. Then he will feel ambushed by my expectations, and he will retaliate by putting me away even sooner than he was planning to. Which, come to think of it, would be even more reason to hate Mother's Day. But my main gripe about Mother's Day is that it feels incomplete and imprecise. The main thing that ever helped mothers was other people mothering them. A chain of mothering that keeps the whole shebang afloat. I am the woman I grew to be, partly in spite of my mother, and partly because of the extraordinary love of her best friends, and my own best friends' mothers, and from surrogates, many of whom were not women at all, but gay men. No one is more sentimentalized in America than mothers on Mother's Day, but no one is more often blamed for the culture's bad people and behavior. She goes on, by the way, she has a whole part that's about why Mother's Day is so unfair to non-mothers, just so you know. That's you. You want to give me chocolate and flowers? That would be great. I love them both. I just don't want them out of guilt. And I don't want them if you're not going to give them to all the people who helped mother our children. But if you're going to include everyone, then make mine something like M&Ms, and maybe flowers you picked yourself, even from my own garden. I don't want something special. Like everything else, it can fill me only if it is ordinary and available to all. Thank you, Anne. So let's just take just a moment to breathe together and honor all that we carry around on this day. Whatever you feel, it's welcome here. All week, I've been thinking about the lines from the ancient Buddhist loving kindness sutra, the Metta Sutta. Even as a mother, this is one of the lines, even as a mother at the risk of her life watches over and protects her only child, so with a boundless mind will I cherish all living beings. Even as a mother at the risk of her life. And maybe we think, oh, that's so melodramatic. But then I think about all the mothers right now risking their lives for the sake of their children. So many all over the world. The mothers fleeing violence in the Middle East, hoping and praying for a life without war for their children. Or the mothers here in this country who have crossed the border with their children, fleeing violence and life-threatening poverty, only to be separated from them by our government, only to be imprisoned. Or mothers who send their children north alone, knowing they may never see them again, with the slim hope that somehow things might be better elsewhere. All over the world, right now, mothers are making these terrible, heartbreaking choices. Choices no mother should ever have to make. We must remember these women too today. And the women who, try as they might, are not able to be mothers to their children because of their own wounding. And the mothers who've given up their children or had their children taken from them or who are incarcerated. There's a little project for next Mother's Day, you might remember this, that is you can actually give money so that women who are imprisoned, that the children can get to see their mothers on this day. These we remember too today. In Buddhism, there is the idea of the bodhisattva, the person who vows to be of service and benefit to others in this often difficult world, a kind of spiritual superhero. And then I think of what it takes to carry and raise a child, however imperfectly, and I think, oh, bodhisattvas aren't so rare. They're all around me. Superheroes crossing the street or a border with a child holding on to each hand, trying to carry their luggage or their groceries at the same time. Because after all, what are the qualities of a bodhisattva? Patience, forbearance, courage, compassion, wisdom, and the capacity to let go. Every parent, sooner or later, has to express all these qualities. Or, I'm told, go crazy. So I came across this writing by the feminist rabble-rouser, Gloria Steinem, and I want to share a bit of it with you. Oh, and somebody told me this morning that some of you may listen to the sermons occasionally of Reverend Raphael Warnock, great progressive. And apparently, what I'm about to read is exactly what his sermon was about. And I was like, oh, good. That's my sermon too. That's great. Glad to be on the same team as Reverend Raphael Warnock. So this is from Gloria Steinem. I've been thinking about Mother's Day and why I and others who are not mothers identify with this day just as much as if we were. Of course, it's partly because we all owe our lives to our own mothers, which would be enough. But I think there is another reason. Even if we are not mothers, the noun, we may be mothering the verb. Think about it. As a noun, mothering is limited to half the human race, and also to the accident of fertility and age and intention. In some societies, motherhood is only honored in women who are married or who have sons. In most society, a woman is more encouraged to give birth to another person than she is to give birth to herself. But when mother is a verb, as in to be mothered and to mother, then the very best of human possibilities come into our imaginations. And we are all able to mother, whatever our sex or age or our abilities. To mother is to care about the welfare of another person as much as one's own. To mother depends on empathy and thoughtfulness, noticing and caring. What Julia Ward Howe had in mind in 1870 when she invented Mother's Day was a day on which we oppose war and advance peace. In other words, it was not Mother's Day, but a mothering day. It reminds us all, whether we are young or old, male or female, of the possibilities that lie within us and that we cherish in others. I thank Julia. On this day and forevermore, we will be reminded that peace is not just the absence of war. It is the presence of mothering. So Gloria Steinem mentioned Julia Ward Howe, and many of you may know that she was a Unitarian, as well as a suffrage leader. And the original name for Mother's Day was A Mother's Day for Peace. So I had one very remarkable mother, Harriet McNeil. And in fact, this stole that I'm wearing, which says gratitude on it, she went to GA, General Assembly, in somewhere in Ohio, was one I missed. And she bought it for me. I was in seminary at the time. You heard a bit about her in my first sermon here. You know that she was Unitarian Universalist. And so you know she passed away 2 years ago this spring. She was born in 1928. So in 2017, she was 89 years old, still living on her own in her Victorian house in Terre Haute, Indiana, while I was here in the Pacific Northwest. I never thought I would go back to the Midwest where I grew up. Yet it began to be clearer and clearer to me that she needed me closer by. And maybe, though I was not admitting this at the time, I needed to be near her too. So I went into ministerial search and was called by a UU congregation that was about 90 minutes away from where she was living. That first Mother's Day in that church in 2018, 8 years ago, she was there in the pews, driving herself from Terre Haute in her Prius, good Unitarian Universalist environmentalist that she was, to hear me. And I'll have to say that I think the day that I ordained into the ministry was the happiest day of her life. She was overcome with joy. She'd probably say it was when I was born, but. So I wanted to share with you, because I just found them as I was working on this sermon, the words that I said that day in 2018 when she was in the pews. So here it is. I just want to say how grateful and lucky I am that my own Unitarian Universalist mother, Harriet McNeil, is here today in this sanctuary in her 90th year with her curly white hair and her unstoppable spirit of curiosity and delight in the beauties of this world, a delight that seems to only intensify with each passing year. Mom, you raised this daughter so well as a single, sometimes struggling mother. You showed me what a generous life looks like, no matter what. A life of integrity and service. A house always open to the stranger and those in need of refuge. And occasionally put up for bail money, I'll just say, during the tumultuous 60s and 70s. A mother to gay men whose own mothers had rejected them. A mother to generations of college students, that you loved like your own children, a wide open, curious mind, always ready to learn something new, or listen to anyone, the guy who helps you in your yard or the person sitting next to you today. We have had so many adventures together in these 54 years. Thank you. So that's what I shared in 2018. And this is what I wrote in an essay that's in my new book, Tend to Your Spirit, that was written after she died, about what I witnessed in her and learned from her near the end of her life. In the last year of her life, when she was 95 years old, she had lost so much, things most of us desperately fear to lose. The list of losses was very long, along with the many other indignities and losses of late old age. I knew that she was severely compromised by dementia, but who she was, her qualities of heart, shone through so brightly, like sun through dappled leaves. I was amazed by her inner and outer beauty, by her resilience, by her capacity for love and appreciation, by her willingness to say yes to her life, even when it was so far from what she would wish for. And her last words, her very last words to me or anyone as I leaned over her bed on that April afternoon were, "I love you." And I'll just share another little story. A friend, really close friend of mine, lost her mother also with dementia just late last year. And she and her son, her mother died in Bellingham, and she and her son came to Bellingham along with the rest of the family to place her mother's ashes in the Salish Sea. And as she watched her son taking a handful of ashes and placing what was left of her mother into the ocean, she had this incredible flash that one day he would be doing that for her. That this is what happens generation after generation. So whoever you are and whatever kind of family you have, I know you care and work for the future, just as a mother at the risk of her own life watches over and protects her only child. That's what makes you Unitarian Universalist, like my mom. And these relationships, our mothers, those we mother, no holiday with saccharine words can touch the fullness of it, the complexity, its agonies and its intensity. And yet, there is a reason we talk about Mother Earth. There is a reason that so many of the ancient goddesses were mother goddesses. And I just want to add just something from that story about my mother that I really came to understand, that it was in those years of suffering, actually, that we went through together, hers and mine, the agony of being the caregiver of someone in the last years of their life. It was in those years that I really learned to love her thoroughly. And so even though it was hard to go back to the Midwest and I didn't want to be there, I had that gift of finally learning to love my mother fully. So in that spirit of honoring the big mother of us all, the world, this next hymn may not be so familiar to you, but it is set to a beautiful Irish melody, and some people here, I hope, have been practicing it this week. So please rise in body or spirit and find hymn number 91, Mother of All, found in your gray hymnal. And those who know it, just sing out. It is really lovely. And we'll give people a minute to find it.
Give us the first note, Michael.
Does anybody know this? Does anybody want to come up? Did any of the people practice? Who could try? Oh, they're probably
If the guitar.
You want to see this? Yeah. Thank you all for your courage in singing this song and for coming up and playing the piano. Like it's like a big group project. And maybe we'll all know it by next Mother's Day. Wouldn't that be fun?
We we will now pause the recording as we prepare our hearts for joys and concerns. When we gather together, there is a love holding me. There is a love, all that we love. There being all I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There. We rest in this love. Thank you, Michael. We'll now resume recording as we finish the service. As member and friends of the Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists, we commit to supporting our congregation. Financial resources help us pay speakers and staff, support our social justice programs, and maintain our building. Please support VIUU with your pledges and offerings so that we can continue to be a vital community. Our congregation engages beyond our walls for peace, social and economic justice, freedom of belief, and protection of our planet. Once a month, we contribute the financial offering to a regional, national, or international organization that aligns with our values. This week's offering supports our beloved community. Our greeters will now pass around the offering baskets. As we receive the offering, please join us in singing number 402 in your gray hymnal, From You I Receive. 402.
I just want to thank Michael for the beautiful guitar this morning. This is the first time I've had a chance to hear him. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to offer just short closing words here. As you go from this sacred space on this oh so complicated day, I invite you to be tender with yourself and with everyone else you meet today, bringing this spirit of goodness that we have generated together out into the world. May all beings be happy. May they be joyous and live in safety. May it be so. Thank you. And I'd like to invite Jessica up to, and the words are here, no worries, to extinguish the chalice. Oh, and Spencer, good. We've got a team.
We extinguish our chalices with these words by Maggie Lovins. We extinguish this flame, but not its meaning and mission in our hearts. Our time together has come to an end. Go in peace, be in service to one another, and may you move through the world in love for all of your days.
Thank you, Reverend Florence. Thank you, Michael. Thank you to Nancy Jackson. Thank you to Jessica Wesch, Donna Klemka, Rick Moroya. Thank you to Dennis Lambert on tech. Thank you for all the people who brought these gorgeous flowers to our service and the arrangements today, and for the beautiful food and coffee. Join us for refreshments following our VIUU announcements. So if you have an announcement to share related to a VIUU activity, please come up and speak into the mic, and then we'll sing ourselves out after that. Go now in peace.
So I just want to remind everyone that women's group meets the 30th, Wednesday night at my house. That's it. If you need more information, you can contact me either through the directory or personally. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning. Whoops, is it working? Yeah. Okay. So this is from the Social Justice Committee. Tanya brought it to our attention that the Unitarian Universalists have a process called an action of immediate witness, a statement about a significant action, event, or development in the world that necessitates immediate engagement and action among UU members and congregations. So we are bringing this to you, and we will vote as a congregation on it at after next Sunday's service. But I want to read you just the part of it because I think it's really exciting. This comes from a congregation in Tampa, Florida, and it's called American Revolution Work in Progress. On July 4th, 2026, the United States of America will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Congressional and state and local elections are scheduled for November. Whereas the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association covenant with each other to dismantle racism and other forms of systemic oppression, and recognizing that the Unitarian Universalist Association has long supported the use of inclusive, peaceful, and democratic processes in making decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large. Therefore, be it resolved that the General Assembly asks Unitarian Universalist congregations and clusters of congregations to rise as they are able in the year 2026 in celebration of the best of the American Revolution. For the 4th of July weekend and for other national holidays, the General Assembly calls for art and music, demonstrations and discussions, the lighting of candles, the ringing of church bells for enlightenment and to help expose and overcome injustice. In defense of civil liberties and safety, congregations and clusters are asked to join with each other and community groups in organizing mutual aid, self-defense, and humanitarian programs. Systems of power, privilege, and oppression have traditionally created barriers for persons with particular identities, ages, abilities, and histories. In preparation for the 2026 elections in the United States, the General Assembly asks congregations and clusters to support voter education, voter registration, and voter protection campaigns during the summer and autumn months. What happens is that congregations around the country will vote on this, and if there are enough, they bring it to the General Assembly in June, and the whole shebang votes on it. But it seemed really appropriate for our congregation. I have copies I'll leave on the back so that if you want to read it yourself, you can. And next Sunday, we will have an opportunity to vote in support of this action of immediate witness. Thank you, Tanya. Yes, thank you, Tanya. Right.
Hi, I'm Kate, your board secretary. In my official role, reminding you that next Sunday is the annual meeting of this congregation. The meeting will be held after the service. We'll have a regular church service next Sunday. And then you will have a 5-minute bathroom break. And then we will go ahead and have the meeting. Please do respond to the request sent out by Runa to tell us, are you coming in person? Are you going to be online? Do you need a proxy? Please remember that one member can be a proxy for only one other member. So you do have to check with the person who's going to be your proxy so they know to vote twice. And you also need to check with your person you want to be a proxy to make sure they didn't already agree to be a proxy for another person. Okay? It would be just delightful if you would all do that this afternoon so I don't have to spend all week tracking you all down and figuring out who's a proxy for whom. The other thing about the annual meeting, since we're sort of rearranging our schedule a little bit, is we're going to have a potluck lunch after the annual meeting. And surprise, we forgot to put it in the newsletter, but it would be a potluck lunch. So please think about what you can bring and plan to stay a little bit longer. The meeting itself should be relatively brief. There are the 2 obligatory pieces of business. Every year we vote on replacing any board members that we need to. People's terms have come to an end. And so there will be 2 at-large positions that we will vote on next time. And then, of course, you need to vote on the budget. The board will present a budget for you for next year, meaning July 1st through June. And you will need to either approve it as it's presented or debate any changes and then approve that. We will not be able to move forward without an approved budget. So those are the key pieces of business. And is there anything anybody desperately needs to ask about that? Otherwise, I'll be quiet. Check.
Thank you much.
I am Maya, and this is regarding the ongoing Thriftway receipt saga. Okay, did everybody hear me? Ongoing Thriftway receipt saga. Yeah, I have some receipts signed on the upper left corner, just initialed. I can't read the initials. There's no name or phone number. If you think that might be you, could you let me know? Sorry.
Hi, my name is Beth, and I'm giving you your May announcement again, which is look around and consider someone in this room that you might want to create a service with for next year, that you would meet together and gather your ideas, follow the themes of the month, and consider maybe just one service. And if it really works, you could maybe do 2, but there are some wonderful people here. Coffee hour doesn't really give us a chance to get to know each other that well. And it's a wonderful experience to work with others to create a service. So there's a sign-up sheet over there. There's some names. The names are just the collection of people, and then I will contact you and help you to either join those in that group or maybe help find somebody else. So by writing your name down does not mean that you are necessarily working with the people that are signed up there. So the other announcement I have is that our beloved Donna Klemka is getting a new hip on June 1st. And this is a food train starter. I did not actually get it together to put together the online food train, but please put your name down here if you would like to offer food for Donna, and I'll contact you and get you online for a food train.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm just going to give you a little update on the stewardship drive. We are at 88,740. So thank you very much, all of you, for putting a leaf on that tree. And then at our annual meeting, I'm going to put the tree up so you guys can all see it. If for some reason you still want to pledge or you haven't yet, just let me know. But I'm really pleased that this is pretty impressive. So especially given the times the way that they are.
What was the tree goal, Jessica?
I really said it. What was that? There's room for more. Yeah. So when we really looked at what the collections all total were for last year for pledges, it was we had pledges for 92, but all total we collected 78. So we're already ahead of where we were last year. So that's really good news. Yeah. I put 101 on there just because I was thinking big because, we do have some big dreams here, people. So there's room for more, of course, but I'm really, really grateful and pleased for where we are because that definitely, as we will see next week at the annual meeting, gives us some room to do some really wonderful and beautiful things in our budget. So you'll get to see the result of that next week.
Hey, Kirk, did you want to say something too?
Oh, yeah. Well, 88,000, almost 89,000 is great.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. But as the budget is written now, it still falls short of what we need to have a balanced budget. We're looking at maybe 3,000 to 4,000 more. Otherwise, the board has to come together and start kind of hacking away. And, but we'll have something presented for you next.
So if you haven't gotten your pledge in yet, this is your chance. You can even be a hero at this point. So I just want to say thank you to a bunch of people for a bunch of stuff. I don't know how many people noticed coming in how beautiful it looked. Yeah, that was a work group that Jonathan was a big part of, and Alex and Jim, and I think Beth and Ted. No, anybody else? And Nancy, great. So, I mean, it's so lovely. Yesterday, they did it partially to make sure that we would look good for the Ramona Bennett Bill event yesterday. But when I came up and I saw how the flowers just framed the door, it was just incredible. So thank you for that. And Jessica and Spencer have been behind the stewardship campaign. Lots of work, lots of energy, lots of success. And Runa also has a role in that. Kirk has a big role in that. I know Anne and Alex have been helping to get responses on pledges. So it's just a reminder of how many people have a little part in making things happen. And then there was yesterday. How many people here were here yesterday? Oh, that is so good. So I don't have to tell you. I'll tell you, a few of you who weren't able to come. It was an incredible event. This was packed. And there were about 6 sponsoring organizations that Social Justice Group put together, and there were representatives of all of them. There were at least as many of us UUs were there. There was at least that many other people who were not, which was 78 people. Isn't that amazing? So thank you, Tanya, for your involvement in that, and Marilee, and I'm not sure who else was. Catherine, my goodness, Catherine was there doing the tech. Lots. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have all the names, but thank you all. It was the kind of thing that we should all be really proud of to be associated with. So, and Ramona her book is amazing. I started reading it this morning, and I'm only finished page 9, but I already know lots more than I did before. So, and also thank you so much to our minister. That was a really incredibly lovely service. Thank you.
Did you say it's recorded?
Yes. What? Ramona Bennett thing?
Yeah. Was recorded. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it was?
Maybe you could hear it.
Hi, I'm Matt Burskin, and I'm so glad to be back. I've been away for quite some time on different trips. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, did you notice? Thank you, thank you. I believe I'm going to be working on the LGBTQ plus sermon in June. Yes, I hear. And I thought I'd do it on the perspective of allies to the LGBTQ plus community and what that means to be. If anybody feels that they've been an ally to the community or to other groups, been an ally, which is a kind of an active thing rather than a passive thing. So I'd appreciate, I could use a few speakers. If somebody could, if anybody has an idea, step up or I'll put something together myself. But thank you if you can, if you have an idea. Thank you.
My name's Dennis Lambert, and we are currently recruiting for the tech team. So if you want an exciting adventure full of surprises, we offer training for this. So anyway, if you're interested, let either myself or Spencer or Kate maybe know, and we'll arrange for this will be for next year. So we'll arrange training. And you'll be off on an exciting adventure.
So hopefully I'm the last one. The men's group meeting this Thursday, the 14th. And it's at Bill Knowlton's. Got it? Okay. At 122 1094th. And the group is going to discuss issues in our community, in our congregation of people experiencing illness, those in our community that are coming to end of life, and those that are dealing with death. So that's the conversation for the men's group this Thursday. Yes, Jessica and Roger Kuntz and I will be doing the service next week on awakening curiosity. Curiosity's path to possible happiness.
Now let's stand and sing ourselves out. Go now in peace.
Surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Yeah. But I'm